Hey, what's up, guys? IBU Sports back at it again. I got a solo episode today. No Blake and Sean today, so I'm gonna do a solo episode, but featuring Calvin Neely for the first time this video, in this channel. We're gonna talk about some pretty ridiculous things going on in the NBA right now. LeBron James, the Raptors, the Warriors, the Pelicans, anything NBA. We're gonna talk about it right now. So get ready. Alright, first off, let's talk about the Raptors. They're down 3-0 in the series right now to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cleveland has destroyed them the past about 3 seasons, and they've always had the reputation of choking and stuff, and we're just going to look back at their history and what went wrong for them in the past years, and especially this year, being down to a 4-seed Cavaliers, but they do have King James. But let's throw it on over to Mr. Neely and get his opinion on how the Raptors are looking right now.
All right, well, I'd just like to start by saying I've never respected the Raptors in the playoffs. Ever since 2014, that was the first time they made the playoffs with this squad with Lowry and DeRozan. They were the higher seed in that series against the Brooklyn Nets, led by, I think, 55-year-old Paul Pierce.
Yeah, 56.
Yeah. He was okay, but he was getting up there in age. Game 7 of that series, the Raptors had a chance to win that game. Lowry drove in the key and gets absolutely swatted by Paul Pierce, who's just super athletic at that age. It's really incredible what he was doing. But and then you fast forward to the next year, they're again the higher seed, 4 seed against the Wizards, the 5th seed, and they get swept by inexperienced Bradley Beal, John Wall team. Marcin Gortat, also a crazy athlete.
Crazy players, all-star level players right there now.
And then after that, I gotta give them some respect. 2016, they had a really good squad. They made the conference finals. They won 2 games against the Cleveland Cavaliers, led by Bismack Biyombo. He was the key piece in that system. And then they let him walk, but
definitely not those 2 other guys on the team, like DeRozan
and Lowry,
and like DeFat Lowry or whatever.
That McNugget guy.
Oh, that guy. Yeah. All-star, right? Wait,
I don't.
Not an all-star, right?
I don't know.
Oh wait, he shouldn't have been an all-star, but he was.
Probably, yeah.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Elite point guard.
And for our next segment, we are going to talk about the Cavaliers. We expect them to sweep the Raptors in this next game coming Monday, I think. And they're going to move on to possibly the Celtics. They're up 3-0 right now, that's 76ers. And they're most likely going to move on to the conference finals. So it's going to be Celtics-Cavs conference finals. And we're here to talk about the Cavs' chance of beating the Celtics and making the finals. So I'm going to throw it to Mr. Neely with his opinion on that series.
All right, so before the season started, I think a lot of people thought that the Cavs and the Celtics would make the Eastern Conference Finals. But this Celtics team is not what we thought they would be. They lost Hayward in the first game of the year. Kyrie's been out for over a month, and he's not coming back. But this Celtics team is so good. They're so talented. They're so well coached. Rozier looks like an all-star point guard right now. Tatum looks like he has so much potential. Horford's playing well. They're just so well coached. They're such a good team. And the Cavaliers, they started the year with 6 guys that are no longer on the team, and they were core pieces to the team. And now, they got Jordan Clarkson. Larry Nance isn't even playing that much. Rodney Hood's not really doing much. But it's all led by LeBron James, the best player in the league. And he's just playing so well right now. And I think after the first round against the Pacers, the rest of the team has kind of woken up. And now the team is playing at a much higher level than they were in the first round. It's all led by LeBron, and I fully expect the Cavaliers to win this series, even though the Celtics are really well coached. I would say probably 6 games against the Celtics.
Yeah.
I think the Celtics will pull out a couple wins because they're just such a great team. But I really think Tatum has a chance to shine in this series. He could have a big series.
Yeah.
I think a guy like Kevin Love, he has to have a good series for them to win. But if LeBron keeps putting up 40 every night, I think there's just no chance that the Celtics can win.
Yeah. And who would you say is like if you had to say an X factor for the Cavaliers that can put them ahead of this really talented Celtics team?
Well, I'd say it would have to be one of the guards. I think George Hill or Jordan Clarkson has to play semi-well because we know Rozier is going to put up some good numbers, and Marcus Smart's a really good defender, so they need to get some work out of their point guards, get some scoring and some playmaking out there. LeBron just can't do it.
But we're going to talk about the Rockets making the finals. We're going to look at the matchup of Rockets versus the Cavaliers, and we're going to talk about how the Cavs match up well against the Rockets. We're going to talk about how some players in the Cavs are going to step up against the Rockets, and who's going to be that guy that's going to stop the MVP runner, like just MVP. I'd say he's probably going to win it this year, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, LeBron's probably going to, he's going to give him a little jab at second place, but
yeah.
I think Harden's going to come away with it. But who's going to be that guy that's going to stop the MVP of this regular season? And first off, I'm going to go first, and I'll let Mr. Neely go on with the second part. So let's first talk about the Rockets. Let's talk about the Rockets offense. So you got Chris Paul at point guard, and then you got Harden, the two guys on your team that are most likely going to carry the offense. And we're talking about the Cavs, who have a horrible defense this year. They're like one of the worst defense teams in the league, but have really picked it up of late in the playoffs. They always seem to pick it up in the playoffs. Of course, when you have the greatest player on planet Earth on your team, LeBron James, you're going to have a team step up on defense and on offense as well. But how are you're going to find ways to stop James Harden and Chris Paul, who both passed the ball in spectacular ways? And I see like J.R. Smith playing, decent defense on James Harden, but can it be enough, honestly? Because Harden's going to get his. He's going to get 30 a game.
Yeah.
But, like, how are you going to limit him, and how are you going to force turnovers, make him miss shots, make him make some bad passes? Like, I just don't see how the Cavs can, like, carry this team on defense and just, see how they play against, like, this offensive juggernaut in the Rockets.
Yeah.
But most of all, I think the most important part is limiting the bench of the Rockets. Rockets have one of the best benches in the NBA, which gives them a lot of production when Harden, CP3 or Capella are out of the game. You got guys like Eric Gordon, who's possibly going to win Sixth Man of the Year this year, who's giving you a pretty good scoring numbers off the bench.
Yeah.
And how are you going to limit those guys from getting their scoring up? And the Cavs bench, I don't know. I don't see them, putting up a lot of numbers. LeBron's been playing 40 minutes a game every single game. He's constantly out there. When the bench is out there, they just fall. You saw the Raptors in Game 3. They climbed back all the way because LeBron was out of the game for 5 minutes or so, and they climbed all the way back, and that just shows you how bad this bench is. And I see matchup defensively, this bench against the Rockets bench is just, I don't know how the point differential is going to go. I see this Rockets squad just going off on offense, and I hope the Cavs really need to step it up on defense, especially out of the starters. I feel like Kevin Love needs to put more effort on defense. You see him standing around a lot, obviously, and he needs to put in more effort. You got to have guys like J.R. Smith who can play 3 and D. And you got to have J.R. lock up defensively on Harden. So that's the way they're going to limit the Rockets' offense. And I feel like they have to play exceptionally well to beat this Rockets squad. But I'm going to throw it to Calvin, and I'm going to say, how can this Cavs team keep up with the Rockets' just constant running gun offense and 3-ball excellent shooting team? How do you feel like they're going to stop them?
Well, I think the key part of the Rockets is obviously Chris Paul and James Harden. They're leading the whole squad. And kind of like the Raptors, I've never respected Chris Paul in the playoffs because he's never made a conference finals, but he can easily make the finals this year. And if he plays well, it's going to be really hard to stop the Rockets. And same with James Harden. We've seen him struggle in the past in the playoffs. Just last year, he lost to the Spurs in 6 games. He got blocked by Ginobili on that last 3 in that series, and So I really think if Harden and Paul are playing well, there's not a lot that the Cavs can do because George Hill's a decent defender, but he can't lock up Chris Paul or James Harden.
Yeah.
The Cavs don't have a lockdown defender. I think it all comes down to just the perimeter defense that the Cavs are playing. You know, Rodney Hood's got a nice wingspan. He can guard some threes. JR can put his hands up, but I think if the threes are falling for the Rockets, it's going to be really hard for the Cavs to beat them in a series. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Chris Paul's got to show me that he can win in the playoffs first. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Gotta show us something.
Mm-hmm.
3, 2, 1. For the next team that the Cavs can face in the finals, we're going to talk about the Golden State Warriors. They are the second seed in the West right now. They're playing the Pelicans, and Pelicans are getting up, putting up a little bit of a fight, but the Warriors are probably going to come ahead. And when we already talked about Rockets Warriors conference finals, but then we're going to talk about the Warriors making the finals, and we're going to talk about Cavs Warriors finals part 4.
Yep.
Yeah, 4 years in a row,
Mm-hmm.
where the Cavs and the Warriors will possibly face each other in the finals. And this is a completely different Cavs squad than it was the past 3 years. No Kyrie Irving, which was a huge lift for them the past 3 years. But actually, he didn't play in 2015 because he was hurt. But they still have Kevin Love, who played in the past 2 finals, and they have a different squad. Not the same squad as the past few years, but you could say maybe they're worse, maybe they're better. But we'll see. But we're going to talk about the matchup that the Warriors have against the Cavaliers. And I'll go first again. I'll say that the Warriors are probably way better matched up against the Cavs than I'd say the Rockets. KD is a pretty good matchup against LeBron. Why I'd say that the Rockets are probably worse matchup-wise against the Cavs is because I'd have to say the best player on the floor in LeBron James is being guarded by probably the second best player in the league, maybe third best, in KD. And LeBron, if he played the Rockets, LeBron would have to guard Ariza the whole time. I mean, Ariza's not going to dribble, not going to put up a bunch of shots a game. He's just going to shoot the open threes. KD can literally do everything else.
Yeah.
He can shoot the three, he can post up, he can shoot the mid-range, he can drive. They run the offense through him and Curry.
Mm-hmm.
The Rockets don't run the offense through Ariza. They run it through Harden and Chris Paul.
Yep.
So LeBron's going to actually have to give a lot of effort on defense, which is going to hurt him on the offensive end, where he's mostly being used in this series against the Raptors, where he's being just this exceptional scorer, averaging 35 points a game, where you see this just killer LeBron who's just absolutely destroying the Raptors. But when they play the Warriors, if they did play the Warriors in this finals, he would be limited on offense because he'd be exhausting his effort on defense, just trying to guard KD. When you saw it last year, he would have to guard KD on mostly every possession, and KD was getting his, obviously, and so was LeBron. But KD's gonna exhaust LeBron on defense unless the Cavs can find a way to just have another guy on KD, and during the pick and roll situation, maybe getting a switch with LeBron and maybe J.R. Smith. I don't know if J.R. can keep up with KD because KD's got the length on him, but I don't know. I don't see who can guard KD in this series. LeBron will be the best fit for him, but LeBron would just be exhausted on offense.
Mm-hmm.
And I see the other matchup with the Kevin Love and Draymond Green matchup, if they played each other. They could possibly have Kevin Love at the 5, but you can still have Draymond at the 5 as well.
Yeah.
They're not starting. They wouldn't start JaVale McGee at that point. They would start Draymond Green at the 5. They run their small ball lineup because Draymond would match up decently with Kevin Love. I'm sure Kevin Love has the height advantage on him, but it's barely a height advantage. Come on, we're getting real here.
Yeah.
Draymond's 6'9" and Kevin Love's 6'10". It's only an inch difference.
Mm-hmm.
And Draymond's one of the best defensive bigs in this league. And he's gonna be a pest towards Kevin Love, and Kevin Love is gonna be on the block, most of the time. Ty Lue's gonna try and get him out the gates early on the block and try and get him his throughout the early game, but he's gonna pesterize Kevin Love. I don't know if Kevin Love is gonna put up the numbers that he's been doing against this Raptors squad, but the points reduction in Kevin Love will be evident in that series.
Mm-hmm.
and I don't see how these other guys on the Cavs team can step up and put in a decent amount of points, like Kyle Korver, like J.R. Smith.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to get theirs because Klay Thompson can guard J.R. Smith and Kyle Korver and stick on them the whole time and just cover them the whole time. And they will not get their shots, I guarantee, because this Warriors squad is so great defensively. All their guards can switch. All of them can stay on their man. They can get contest shots like constantly, and you're just going to see this team struggle to shoot while the Warriors just ball movement is just going to kill the Cavaliers on defense.
Yeah.
We've already said they've had the worst defense in the league, one of the worst defenses in the league.
Yeah.
They're just going to have to step it up big time to beat this Warriors squad.
Yeah.
And you saw it last year with Kyrie. They just struggled so much because this Warriors squad is just so insanely good.
Yeah.
And I just don't see. I'm gonna give them. I'll give the Cavs 2 games. They might win 2 games in this series.
Yeah.
That's the at most I'm gonna give them against the Warriors. And I'm gonna throw it on to Mr. Neal and get his opinion on this.
Yeah. So, I think the Cavs this year they simply just don't have the talent to match up with the Warriors. You talk about KD and LeBron. It's possible LeBron can put up more than KD, put up more scoring, and just be a better playmaker overall. So he could win that matchup. Kevin Love could win the matchup with Draymond Green, but then after that, you still got Curry and Klay on the Warriors, and you got George Hill, J.R. Korver, Rodney Hood for the Cavs, and that's just I just don't think that's going to cut it in the NBA Finals, and I really just think the Warriors are going to destroy the Cavs on offense. But I think if LeBron keeps playing the way that he's been playing this whole playoffs, he can easily win one to 2 games.
Yeah.
But if the Cavs somehow pulled off a win in the finals against the Warriors, that would just LeBron's all-time ranking would just go way up. And I think
It's already up there.
Yeah.
It's already top 5
I mean,
for sure.
that'd be just incredible if LeBron could pull this off this year and win with this Cavs squad.
We'll have to talk about that in another video about if LeBron James wins a ring this year with the squad he has. We'll have to talk about his all-time ranking.
Yeah.
Is he better than Jordan if he wins a ring? We don't know. But I'd have to put him in top 3, maybe the second best player of all time if he wins the ring this year. And we'll have to talk about it in a separate video. But thanks guys for coming out. It's a fun video. It's a lot going on in the NBA playoffs right now. This is gonna be such an interesting year. We have no idea what's gonna go on, and just excited to see what happens. So thanks for checking out. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like button down below, and we'll see you guys next time on the next episode of IBU Sports. See you guys.